Excuse me, do you have the time? If you said it's story time, you have the correct time. So, get very comfortable. Gather the cushions, gather the beverages of your choice. Gather everything that you need to be extraordinarily comfortable for the next little while. And while you're doing that, I will tell you that this podcast and these stories are supported by patrons. So, if you like these stories and you would like to become a patron, support the stories and receive more stories, you can do that on patreon.com/can I tell you a story. patreon.com/can I tell you a story. And you will receive bonus stories, my undying thanks, and more things which you can read about on the site. Also, you should probably tell all of your friends about this podcast. And I hope you're ready now, because it's time for a story. Joren is in the biscuit aisle. He has a complimentary plastic shopping bag over one arm. He fought it free of the stubborn stack of baskets at the entrance to the store. The handles dig into his flesh, weighed down by 6 cans of dog food, creating indentations he'll be wearing for hours. He scans the shelves, neat rows of plastic packets shining in the too bright fluorescent lights. There's a barrier of striped plastic safety tape across the aisle, impeding his access to the shelf holding iced biscuits. A laminated sign is hung over the tape. Danger, it says. No entry. Joren sees no danger. There's no sign of anything broken or spilled. No sign of any supermarket employees either. Joren lifts the tape and ducks under it, taking 2 quick steps into danger. The supermarket radio is playing Billy Joel. Only the high registers. There is no bass. Joren sings along under his breath. Only the good die young. He reaches out an indecisive hand hovering between Monte Carlo and mint slice. A faint scent of smoke finds his nostrils, drifts up his nose. He drops his hand to his side and frowns, turning to find the source of it. A child is having a tantrum several aisles over, screaming incoherently in between hiccuping sobs. Joren's shoulders tense, making his elbows pull back like chicken wings. The screaming sounds like sirens, and the scent of smoke intensifies. Hurry up, he tells himself. Make a bloody decision. They're just biscuits. But he resists the urgency building in him. It's important to have the right biscuit. The wrong biscuit can quite ruin a cup of tea. Frowning, Joren watches himself put a packet of each in his basket before he hurries to the far end of the aisle and the exit. Baby, sings Billy Joel, only the good die young. As Joren reaches the end of the aisle, something crunches underfoot. He falters and looks down. Crushed to crumbs under his heel is a biscuit. A Scotch finger biscuit. The floor is no longer shiny white supermarket linoleum tiles. It's a road of parquet biscuits, and it stretches into the distance, coming to a stop in front of a crumbling stone pillar with a large iron gate behind it. The fluorescent lights flicker and go out, taking with them the supermarket shelves laden with neat rows of shiny plastic packets. In their place are low stone walls, a precise and artificial chasm containing the biscuit road. Beyond the stone walls there is nothing, a featureless ash-filled wasteland, with the darker shapes of mountains in the distance. There's a reddish cast to the remaining light that throws Joren's shadow around his feet in erratic fits and starts. The smell of smoke intensifies. The sky is boiling with it. The handles of his borrowed basket dig into his arm, and his breath is high in his chest. The biscuit road crumbles underfoot. There's nowhere to go but towards the gate or away from it. He chooses towards for the negligible comfort of having a visible destination, a landmark to aim for. Dressed for Arctic supermarket air conditioning, Joren is wearing too many clothes for a place where the sky is on fire. The humidity makes his skin itch. Fear is dry and gritty in his mouth. He looks hopefully into his basket, dog food and biscuits. No water. He reaches the end of the road faster than he expects. In front of him is a stone pillar. It has an electrical socket fixed to the top. Next to it hangs a butter knife dangling from a string threaded through a hole drilled in the handle. A little brass plaque under the socket reads, "Your move." The gate behind the pillar looks like it was built to be imposing by someone who knew what they were doing. It's locked with an ostentatious padlock. To keep things in or out? Joren can't tell. Through the bars he sees only murk. Joren looks at the gate. He looks at the pillar. He turns and looks behind himself along the biscuit road. Just out of hailing distance, he sees a small man with a handlebar moustache and a long-handled dustpan and brush, sweeping up the crumbs caused by Joren's footsteps. The small man gives a credible impression of being absorbed in his work, and he doesn't look up. Joren glances away, and when he looks back, the small man has gone. Joren pushes a hand into his pocket and finds biscuits written on a yellow post-it note, and a broken locket with an elastic band in it that he'd always thought was vaguely lucky. He puts them back in his pocket and reaches for the butter knife. It's warm in his hand. He shrugs and then feels stupid because there's no one there to see his counterfeit nonchalance. He sticks the butter knife into the socket, almost expecting to be thrown back along the biscuit road and into the supermarket to the safe side of the danger sign and the rows of plain biscuits. Instead, there's a half-hearted thunderclap. A wisp of smoke drifts up from the pillar. Leaning on the cracked stone is an angel, who looks like he used to be white, but now he's mostly soot-coloured, with bags under his eyes. "Welcome to hell," says the angel. "Hell," says Joren, the wheels of his thinking turning very slowly. "But you're an angel in hell. Shouldn't you be in the other place? Sitting on a cloud, playing a harp?" "Tone deaf," says the angel. "Sat me on a rocket and told me to hold on, only my hands got all sweaty, and I fell off and landed here. I've been here ever since." "Really?" The wheels of Joren's thinking strain against the impossibility of everything after the striped tape and the sign that said danger. "No," says the angel. The wheels of Joren's thinking wobble wildly. "What happens now?" he says. "You go through those gates," says the angel. "But they're locked," says Joren. The angel pulls a large key from his pocket. Static electricity arcs between the key and the angel. "Fuck," he says. "Every damn time." "But I'm not dead," says Joren. "I know," says the angel. "You found the loophole." "The what?" "The loophole. You came through what used to be a door into a fairy wood. Used to be portals into other realms all over back in the day. Thing is, they don't go away just because some idiot builds a supermarket on top of them. There's a fairy road right down the middle of the biscuit aisle, but the Fey folk got jack of people wandering in looking for ginger snaps, and so, well, they closed off their end, filled it full of tricksy curses and bricked it over. Portals don't just disappear, though. They have to go somewhere. So most of them get rerouted here. Portal rules still apply, though. You can't return for 7 years. 7 years? The wheels of Joren's thinking shudder and skip. "But I didn't even want to come here. Can't you bend the rules?" "Not up to me, is it? The road doesn't go there anymore. It won't, until the time is up." The angel gestures down the biscuit road. "You can try walking it. You'll just end up back here again." "I don't believe you," says Joren. "Suit yourself." Joren walks the biscuit road, causing crumbs. He doesn't see the man with the broom again. The road to hell isn't paved with good intentions. It's paved with a variety pack of family favourites. The wheels of Joren's thinking give up and fall off, wobbling up the road away before falling over in little clouds of crumbs. Ahead is a greyish, bored-looking angel, untangling a yo-yo with its string all snarled. He looks up as Joren approaches. "Nearly did it," he said. "I'm learning how to do a walk the dog." "Is there any water?" says Joren. "Water? Why would there be water?" "I'm thirsty." "That's unfortunate." "I'll be dead before 7 years if I don't get a drink." The angel smiles. "That's just the thing," he says. "You won't. You'll get thirstier and thirstier until you think you'll go mad with it. Maybe you will go mad with it. Lots of them do. But you won't die. You can't, see? You're, honorarily, already dead." Joren looks back at the biscuit path to nowhere. He looks forward to the iron gate. The padlock has been removed. He looks at the angel. Anywhere has got to be better than here, he thinks, with no wheels. "Right? Lead on then," he says. "Oh," says the angel. "No, I don't go in there. That's a path all must walk alone, yada yada. I just show up when some idiot sticks a knife in the socket." The angel finishes untangling the string and winds his yo-yo. Joren goes through the gate. The angel watches Joren's retreating back, his plastic supermarket basket banging into his hip at every step. The angel sighs and shrugs out of his wings. They're made of coat hangers, with a lot of feathers glued on, and they've seen better days. He adjusts a feather or two and hangs them on a piece of stone protruding from the gate post. The angel puts his yo-yo in the pocket of his grubby robe and shuffles gracelessly through a Tai Chi sequence. Behind the wall he has a small stove set up on a stack of flat stones piled one on top of the other. He puts a battered kettle over the flame, whistling tunelessly. Joren stumbles back through the gate. He's grimy and dishevelled, his hair snarled into dreadlocks full of twigs, and his beard has a small angry demon in it that evaporates with a scream as he crosses the threshold. Over his arm hangs the supermarket basket, empty, with a large bite taken out of it. Joren glares at the steaming mug in the angel's hand. "You told me there was no water." "That's right," says the angel. "I did. Didn't find any, did you?" Joren glares at the angel. "No," he says, "I didn't." "You get what you expect. In hell," says the angel. "You're a jerk," says Joren. "I expected that," says the angel. "I expect the road's open again now," says Joren. "Oh? Sure about that, are you?" says the angel. "Fuck you," says Joren. The biscuit road stretches in front of him, all signs of his earlier passing erased. With his empty battered basket over his arm, he starts walking. The supermarket aisle looks exactly the same. Tinny music and too bright lighting, packets of biscuits shining in neat rows on the shelves. A supermarket employee is rolling the safety tape neatly, the danger sign resting in a trolley full of empty boxes in front of her. She eyes Joren's wild hair and singed clothing and rolls faster. Joren ignores her, eyes on the shelves. "Monte Carlo or mint slice?" He reaches out a hand and puts a packet of each into his basket. He heads for the exit. I hope that you enjoyed this story. Thank you for listening to it. If you did enjoy this story and you would like more stories, perhaps you would like to become a patron. Patrons receive bonus stories and other things, including my endless thanks, which you can read more about on patreon.com/Can I Tell You a Story. Until next time, stay on the safe side of the danger sign, unless you want to go through the portal and see where you end up. Also, Tell all of your friends about this podcast and these stories. It will make me happy. Thank you.